Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of STEM Girls Virtual. My name is Emily, and I'm here on behalf of Cincinnati Museum Center. On this show, we talk about different careers in the STEM fields, those fields being science, technology, engineering, and math. Today is an extra special STEM Girls Virtual because we're talking to a panel of students from the University of Cincinnati. And thank you all for joining us today. And I'd love it if you all can introduce yourselves. So Robin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Robin. My major is biological science on the pre-med track, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, awesome. Kamille?
Hi, I'm Kamille, and my major is neuroscience.
Okay. Mikaela?
I'm Mikaela, and my major is also neuroscience.
Anu?
Hi, I'm Anu. I'm a first-year neuroscience major.
Kelly?
I'm Kelly, and my major is chemistry on a pre-med track.
And then Nina?
My name is Nina. I'm a biological science major, and I'm on the pre-med track.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you all for joining us. And this is the first panel I've ever done, so it's really awesome to get to do it with college students, especially from UC. So one question I have for all of you is, what in particular drew you to your major? And I'm going to do the opposite and start with Nina. So Nina, what about your major, and what about it did you really want to learn more about and make it a career?
In high school, I was really interested, particularly in my biology class, and I've always been an advocate for health, and in particular, women's health. So once I decided to go to college, I wanted to pick biology because it's something that really interested me, and something that would help me along to get all of my prerequisites for the pre-med track.
Awesome. And then Kelly, what about your major interested you?
Well, I feel like, so since my major is chemistry and I feel like, I don't know, math revolves around it, I feel like I'd really excel in that. And also, I felt like it would have been easier for me to like get a job, I guess, if I were to graduate with a chemistry degree versus like just a health sciences one. So I felt like it just interested me since I didn't know that much about chemistry, but it just seemed interesting just because of the math aspect of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and your major should definitely be interesting to you. That is something that I think is really important for future college students to hear about. Is it should definitely interest you. That would make it much more enjoyable,
right,
as you're studying. Yeah. Anu, what about your major interested you?
I'm just fascinated by the brain. Like during my high school career, my favorite classes were like my AP psychology class and also my anatomy and physiology class. And my favorite chapter was like the neurobiology chapter, and I just like fell in love with the brain. So
very cool. And there's still a lot we don't know about the brain, so it's awesome that some of you are studying the brain. So yeah, that's great. Mikaela, what about your major interested you?
Well, actually in high school, I didn't like math or science at all. I really wasn't interested in it until my senior year, and I took a biomedical sciences class, and I really enjoyed it. And so my major at first was biology, but I thought it was too broad, and like you said, you really want to enjoy it. So I kind of explored other majors, and I found neuroscience, and like Anya said, I really liked psychology in high school, so I decided to go with that.
Yeah, Kamille, what about you? Interested you in your major?
So what interested me in my major is my mom has MS, which is like a neurological disease, and it has a lot to do with the brain. So like I grew up like in the hospitals a lot when I was younger. So it's just something that's always interested me.
Oh, well, thank you for telling that personal anecdote. Yeah, Robin, what about you?
What drew me to my major? Like I've always been like interested in science, not really math at all. I'm not really that good. So like in high school, my favorite classes were biology and anatomy. And since like you can't really get a major in anatomy, I just chose biology, which was the closest one. So
makes sense. Yeah, and some of you touched on this. Robin, you just did a little bit, but have you all always been interested in STEM, or is it something I think Mikaela, you said in your senior year of high school, but have all of you always been interested? Robin, we'll start with you this time.
I've always been interested because like I grew up in Liberia, and like the healthcare was like very, very poor there. So like that basically is what drew me to healthcare, to like want to improve it and make it a lot better and affordable for people.
Yeah. Kamille, what about you?
I have always been interested in it, but I've always gone back and forth, but it's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah, yeah. Mikaela, can you touch a little bit more maybe about your senior year in the class you took?
Yeah, so it was more so the math of STEM that I didn't really like, but in my biomedical sciences class, it was more like hands-on lab work. And that's kind of how I figured out that I really was interested in it and really wanted to do something that involved biology, I guess, or biomed. So
Yeah. Anu?
Yeah, I've actually always been into STEM. I didn't like the math part, but like I've always liked science ever since I was a little kid. So I like wanted to continue on my science journey. So,
Yeah, nice. Kelly, how about you?
I feel like I've always been interested in STEM before I even knew what STEM was, I guess. So like math and science, I feel like were my really strong subjects. So I guess improving more in that really made me enjoy it more. So
Yeah, makes sense. And Nina, how about you?
Well, when I was younger, those used to be definitely my strong suits, but once I went to high school, it was definitely an up and down. I stopped liking science and math because I never really got that like encouragement from my teachers. Kind of like they always like kind of put me down and always assumed that I would do bad. So I started to do really bad. But I was in this program for UC. It's the LSAMP program. And during the summer, and I was able to take biology, chemistry, and those other classes. And getting the encouragement from those professors made me realize that I was actually good in those subjects. So that's just for me.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because again, the whole point of STEM Girls, this program that the Museum Center does, is because some teens, especially girls, don't always get that encouragement in STEM-based classes, and it's really important to get that encouragement. And teachers' actions and words mean a lot, especially in middle and high school. So I'm glad you were able to take this kind of camp at UC over the summer. So I'm glad you're able to do that. And I'm gonna ask now is, what are some of the favorite things about your majors that you really love? And Nina, I'll start with you.
Again, it gives me all of my prereqs that I want for pre-med. It's a very versatile major, which I like about it. So if I do not go to med school, or if I, just decide I don't want to anymore, I can do a lot with that degree as my undergrad or go into grad school in another type of path.
Yeah, well, that's great. Kelly, what are some of the favorite things about your major?
Definitely the classes I get to take, things like, I guess like the classes this year, like chemistry and bio and stuff, just learning more about how we function and like our bodies, like just down to, how we're made of cells and things like that. Like, I just think, it's just crazy how the body is, and that just really interests me.
Yeah. Anu, how about you?
I love my favorite class is life of the brain. I just like love learning everything about the brain, and every time I read like a chapter, like I purposely I like read ahead because I'm so intrigued with like what's going on. So I like never found something that I was like passionate about till like I joined this major. So I was happy about that.
Oh yeah, that's great. I love that you read ahead. I think that shows that you really, really enjoy what you're studying. Yeah. Mikaela, how about you?
I really like how versatile like my major is, and I guess the degree, like how it can be used after college, because there's so many things going on with the brain, like sleep sciences, neurosurgery, or not sleep, I already said that, but speech pathology and stuff like that. So
yeah. Kamille, how about you?
I would agree with Mikaela, and like just how versatile the whole like major is, and you can decide if you want to go to medical school or if you just want to do research, and I just love that aspect of it.
Yeah. And Robin, how about you?
Mine would probably be like all the classes I get to take, and in like the first or second week of biology, we actually got to learn about like the structure of COVID, which is very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, very relevant to what's going on right now. So to kind of flip about your favorites, what are some challenges that you face in your major? And COVID is definitely probably one of them right now. So Robin, what are some challenges that you have with your major?
My challenges was like going from high school to college, like the amount of schoolwork you have to do and studying was like, it increased it by so much. So mine was just like learning how to adjust to studying for college classes and not just high school and cramming everything in.
Yeah, it's a big adjustment. I went to college many years ago, but it was definitely an adjustment to go from, you're pretty independent in college in a lot of ways, and you have a lot of responsibility thrust on you pretty quickly. So yeah, that was a big challenge. I think it's a challenge for a lot of folks. So Kamille, what about you?
I would just say being like organized all the time, because in high school you have more ability to just be like more relaxed and not have to do stuff like on time. But in college, it's like you have to get it done or like you're just not going to get a grade for it. So just adjusting to making sure everything's turned in on time and that like I'm studying effectively.
Yeah. Mikaela, how about you?
I definitely say the amount of coursework, even without COVID, but I definitely say with COVID, it's a lot more just in online classes. And going off of what Robin said, definitely the transition, but I would definitely recommend doing like a summer program before you go to UC, because that really helped me kind of like get a head start and know how college life was going to be.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, the university I went to offered that, and I think it's a great way if you're able to do it to really adjust to college and all that it entails. Anu, how about you?
Yeah, the biggest adjustment for me was just like transitioning from high school coursework to college coursework, because like basically in high school I can just like honestly like finesse the system and like get an A, but like here actually I had to like try and actually like learn what I'm learning and understand what I'm learning just to like do well. So I think that was like the hardest part for me, just like I'm not in high school anymore, like I actually have to like understand the material. Like
yeah, Kelly, how about you?
For me, definitely like really taking in that you're going from little to no control to having control over everything that you're doing, like your schedule, and trying to find consistency with how you study and things like that. And also definitely with COVID, like kind of experiencing like some online burnout, like just not wanting to be around technology 24/7, like just kind of feels like there's not really like a clock in, clock out type thing. So trying to control that, stay on top of your work, but also take time for yourself.
Yeah. I think a lot of people right now, they're finding that work-life balance, and it's hard. We're 7 months into it, and it's a huge adjustment. So yeah, that is happening to a lot of people. Yeah. Nina, how about you?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Kelly. My biggest adjustment had to be probably just like time management, because you had to like your schedule is not made for you. You have so many like different times that you are available. So using that time wisely, making sure that you get a lot of your assignments in and studying, and you're really responsible for you. Like that was my big adjustment. So making sure I got all my assignments in and all that, and also still trying to have a social life even throughout this pandemic safely. So
Right. Yeah. And some of you are still probably really early on in college, but do you have career goals? Is there something that you'd in the next few years you'd like to be doing with your career? Nina, I'll start with you.
yeah, I'm really open-minded in that. I do plan to go into med school. Again, like I said, I'm really interested in like women's health. So I was considering being like an OBGYN, but I'm really open to any other like type of options.
Yeah. Women's health in particular, a lot of women, when they go to the doctor, aren't always believed that something's wrong. So having more female doctors is definitely important for sure. Yeah. Kelly, how about you?
I've always aspired to be a heart surgeon for the longest, and I also I'm open to other things too, medical, like maybe being an OBGYN. but I've definitely like, I don't know, something about the heart just really interests me. So
Yeah, it's a pretty important body part. So I get that. Yeah. Anu, how about you?
Me, I'm open to anything. Like my career goal is to be a physician assistant, and I like the lateral mobility, so I can like switch specialties without going back to school. Because like I basically I like everything in science. I like the brain, I like the kidneys. I'm obsessed with everything. So I'm like very open minded to my career.
Gotcha. Mikaela, how about you?
I also want to be a physician assistant, more for neuroscience though. So
Yeah. Awesome. Kamille, how about you?
I want to go to medical school, and like right now my goal is to be a neonatologist, but I'm open to anything.
Sure. Can you tell us what a neonatologist is for some of us that might not know?
So a neonatologist, basically they do surgery on babies like inside of the womb, or like as soon as they come out, like early preemies and everything like that have low chances of survival.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Thank you for explaining that. And Robin, what about you?
I also want to go to med school, but then I want to be a plastic surgeon or a hand surgeon later on.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. And a lot of the people I talk to in their careers are not students, and something that they've always said is it's really important to just to network and to find, there's a lot of pressure at a very young age to figure out what do you want to do for the rest of your life. So I just wanted to ask, like, what are your career goals? Not what exactly do you want to do? Because I think a lot of time there's a lot of pressure on people your age to have it all figured out. And you don't have to have it all figured out. You got time. So something I wanted to ask all of you is representation matters, and especially in STEM, we are starting to see the STEM field diverse, but there still aren't a lot of women of color in the field. So can you all talk about that a little bit? And Nina, I'll start with you if that's okay.
Yeah, so growing up, I was in the hospital a lot with my mother, also a woman of color. She has PCOS, and she needed a lot of different surgeries. And for a long time, we dealt with doctors that really wouldn't take a look into her condition, because at first we didn't know, but they really didn't care. And it kind of just showed me the institutionalized racism that a lot of Black women in the healthcare have to deal with. So I kind of that's what made me passionate about women's health, because I wanted to be one more friendly face to women of color who need medical treatment.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for giving a personal anecdote about that. Kelly, how about you?
For me, growing up, well, from around like 2008, 2012, I used to live in Uganda. So I was surrounded by many people who look like me. And I never really like questioned how my race played into what I could be when I was older. But then when I moved back here in 2012, it was not necessarily like I felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do, but like when I saw I didn't see anybody who looked at me in a higher position, I felt like, oh, like, can I do that? And so even just seeing one woman of color really inspired me to like really saw them as inspiration for me to really go and get at what I want to. But I guess for me, me being in STEM, like I also want to see how I can be representation to younger girls who might, look back and see like, oh, like, my mom did this, or just if other girls and boys, whichever, want to like aspire to be something, they shouldn't be afraid of that just because they might not see that representation, but they could just be that representation.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. And you all are role models for your other peers and for students younger than you. So I hope you take that away from today. Maybe you already knew that, but you were all role models, and there's going to be a lot of people watching this that we'll start to see people like them. Mikaela, how about you?
I definitely agree with you that representation matters. And I think especially to young girls of color, just because I feel like when you're a young age and you're a girl of color, I feel like there's a lot of societal boundaries that aren't necessarily spoken, but they're kind of there, and you kind of feel like you can accomplish something. So I definitely think that's why representation matters. And especially Black women when they go to the doctor, you know, seeing my own mother's experiences when she goes to the doctor and she's not listened to and stuff like that. I definitely think it's important to have people there, I guess, that will listen to you and that will truly attend to your needs and help you instead of kind of dismissing problems. So I definitely think that women's representation, especially people of color, really matters in the medical field.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. I think having more doctors who are women or identify as women and all roles in the medical field are really important for just what you and Nina have touched on. So thank you. Kamille, how about you?
Growing up, I still to this day, I go to the doctor a lot. I get sick very easily. And I've always only had male, stereotypical male, white doctors. And I only had one doctor growing up that was a person of color. And that was a man. So growing up, I never saw any women or anything like that in any sort of medical field, being nurses, which is amazing. But I never saw them being doctors and doing stuff that it was stereotypically for men, you could say. So just seeing that, growing up, I just made me realize that I want someone to be able to see me and that know that they can confide in me, and just being a woman of color in a STEM field, which is hard.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of stereotypes in the medical field. There's a lot of stereotypes in a lot of different fields, but I think in STEM and in the medical field, there's a lot. So I think it's awesome that you want to go into the medical field and to break down that barrier for others. So yeah, that's awesome. Robin, how about you?
Kind of like what Kamille said, growing up, I'm always going to the doctor. I still am. But I would always see it's always the white doctors there, and I never saw one. So when I was about 6 years old, I saw there was one doctor, this Black dude. He would just sit down and listen to me, try to make me happy. He would blow up those little the gloves and turn them into happy smiley balloons for me. And that has really impacted me, because he took his time out of his day just to sit down with this little Black girl and make sure she feels comfortable and understand what's going on with her body. Unlike other doctors who would just be oh, she's not sick, oh, nothing's wrong with her. So I feel that's really helped me to want to impact other girls and be yes, we will take the time to understand you and listen to what you have to say and not just skip over you because you're a kid.
Yeah, and going to the doctor at any age sometimes can be scary, but as a kid especially, that is an amazing story you just told about a doctor that took time out of his schedule to try and make you feel better, and it's obviously had an impact. So thank you for telling us that. That's a personal anecdote. And Anu, how about you?
Okay, so I've thought about it. So I just feel like being born as a woman of color, we're already born with boundaries already. So we have to work 10 times harder than our white counterparts just to be on the same level as them. So that's why I believe representation is important, because sometimes it's just really discouraging, being the only Black girl or woman of color amongst all of my white counterparts in medical meetings and stuff like that. So I just feel it's really important, especially for young girls who aspire to be in STEM, to just go for it, honestly, because I would love for there to be more women of color in STEM, and just yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that this was a very personal topic that we talked about, so I appreciate you all telling me and our viewers a little bit about your feelings on this. So thank you. My last question for you all is, what advice would you give to young women and girls just a few years younger than you if they wanted to study STEM in college and have a STEM career? Robin, I'll start with you.
I would say STEM is pretty hard, especially to be a girl in the STEM field. So I would say if you choose to be in the STEM field, just stay focused and get a network of people who will be willing to support you throughout your journey. That's really helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Kamille, how about you?
I would say just believe in yourself, because not everyone's going to be in your corner, and like some people are going to be like, you shouldn't do it. And I would just feel like if you know that you can do something, just put your mind to it and just work for it, and you'll get what you want.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Mikaela, how about you?
I definitely agree with Kamille about believing in yourself, because there's going to be times when you do really bad or you do really good, and you just have to believe in yourself and know that you're capable of doing this. So I definitely agree with Kamille.
Yeah, that's important. And I think grownups, people my age, I'm 33, I need to remember that sometimes, that it's okay that I'm not always going to do well. But that doesn't mean that I failed or anything. Even if you have failed, you're going to learn from it. So yeah, that's good advice. So Anu, how about you?
I have so many, but the primary thing, just like find a community of girls or people that are like-minded like you, find a group to study with, because like some people like don't understand like what it's like being like a female in a STEM major. So definitely like surround yourself with a support system, because like they'll understand how you feel at the end of the day. And also take care of yourself, because it's really, really easy to like neglect your health, neglect your mental health, like not drink water or eat because you're so focused on your schoolwork. So I'll just say like make sure to take care of yourself. Like it's okay to take a break, because if you like don't take a break, you're gonna be exhausted and you're like be miserable. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. Yeah, especially right now where I think Kelly, you were saying there's so much digital burnout. We kind of get glued sometimes on the opposite end to our computer, and so much time has passed and we forget just to do basic things to take care of ourselves. So yeah, that's great advice. Kelly, how about you?
Definitely, I would say not to be afraid of a challenge. Like I feel like if you look at something that's so in the sky that seems so hard to reach, like it can be done. And also definitely you shouldn't compare your journey to others, no matter how like similar it looks. At the end of the day, it's your life, and what you're doing could seem really similar to somebody else, but you can't compare like your journey.
Right, that is something that I think we need to do through life. You don't know what everyone else is going through, and comparing yourself to them it's hard not to do. But yeah, that's good advice. Thank you. And Nina, what about you?
I would have to say, if you want something, definitely go for it. Do not second guess, go for it. Because when I was younger, like I said before, I was discouraged by school counselors, by teachers, by my own family. And I wanted to go into the the medical field. So I still went for it, and now I'm here. And I also agree with Anu. Definitely surround yourself by like-minded people that support you, because not a lot of people are going to support women in STEM.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, a lot of people, especially women, sometimes second guess themselves. And, I think it's important to hear to go for it. So thank you all for joining me. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.